Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. So the time that most people anticipate throughout the year would probably be days like Christmas or, their birthday, things like that. But the time that I anticipate the most is the time that all of the awesome companies we know and love start to reveal the figures for the upcoming year, and that officially starts today as we have a look at Schleich's 2022 lineup. However, there is one figure missing. One figure has not been revealed, which is a Tyranclay. So when that does get officially revealed, I of course will let you guys know. But as of right now, we have 4 of the 5 figures revealed, and I'm really excited to go through them with you guys right now. The very first one that we have here is the Amargasaurus, and I'm kind of torn on this one because it almost looks pretty weird and awkward, but I think that similar to quite a few of the figures from last year, a lot of that has to do with the angle of the promotional image here. Schleich, for some reason, always takes their promotional images with the weirdest angles, which cause their figures to look very strange, and definitely doesn't give you the overall real actual feel for the figure like you get when you see the figure in hand. I think this positioning of the image is just very strange, but I do really quite like the coloration that they've chosen for it, and I think the figure might look a lot nicer once we actually see maybe like a side profile or something like that. Still something I am without question going to be picking up because I love Amargasaurus, and I actually think that this figure will end up being much nicer than what we see in this image. And then we have the Pteranophus, and I think this one as well is really nice looking. Like, this is definitely a beautiful looking Pteranophus from what I could tell. I really like the kind of chunkiness to this one. You can see a lot of girth in the stomach region, so this must be a very well fed Pteranophus, looking just extraordinarily chunky in that area. But the sculpt looks quite nice. I do like the quadrupedal pose for it. I'm not super sold on the green up there on the crest into the beak, but I mean, it might look nicer in hand. I do like the color scheme otherwise, though. I really actually think the red running along the back is a very nice touch, and the brown tones and stuff look fantastic overall. So a figure that I really cannot wait to get my hands on. And then in one that's even more exciting, we have the Notosaurus, and that one, in my opinion, is just a figure that is not to be missed. It looks beautiful. The only thing that I can honestly say about this one that, could be potentially perceived as a downside would be the kind of bulky Schleich teeth, but at this point, if you are familiar with the Schleich brand, you're probably already familiar with how their teeth work, so I'm not really going to take points away for that, because of course they have to make them safe for kids, since that's actually who the figures are made for, but I think other than those teeth, the figure looks really nice, beautiful, very nice naturalistic paint scheme, and I love the scales that are just flooding this figure. It looks really nice, and this definitely looks to be one that will include that kind of famous Schleich dark wash, and I think that wash is going to make this figure look stupendous in hand. Definitely another one that I'm really excited about. And the final one that we were waiting here for a reveal of until we get the Styracosaurus is the Mosasaurus, and this is the one that I think I was most excited about, and I think the color scheme of this one is awesome. Absolutely awesome looking paint scheme for this. I think the sculpt as well looks really quite nice, aside from the arms. The arms are very strange and just seem like they're totally out of place. It almost looks like he has just run a marathon and he's super exhausted and his arms are just dangling, but if you get past the very odd positioning of the arms, I think the figure looks incredibly well done overall, and even though the angle of this image yet again is somewhat awkward and strange, I feel like this is definitely going to be one of, if not the best figures from Schleich for the 2022 year. So really exciting stuff from Schleich for the upcoming year. I actually have a little extra news, however, for you guys, as we have a very interesting Mosasaurus that was created and will be sold by Tyranclay on Instagram. And you can see that it looks really cool, very nice, very natural looking paint scheme for it as well. He's been sculpting figures for quite some time. I had teased a T-Rex that he had sculpted quite a ways back. Well, he has now moved on to this really interesting looking Mosasaurus, and this is going to be a very limited run as far as this model goes. It's going to be, I think, a limited edition of about 15 overall. I don't know if that's just going to be the first run or if that's just the overall number. It's just something that I think he would have to decide on at some point. And you can see that there's like a mini Mosasaurus included in this image here, and that will actually just be randomly put into one of the 15 boxes as a gift, so you really don't know who would receive that little tiny Mosasaurus. They're estimating the price may be around $60 to $65, but I don't think that is set in stone quite yet, and the sale date will be around mid to late September. So if this is something you are interested in, make sure you check the link in the description, as I will include a link to Tyranclay on Instagram where you can contact him to inquire further about said model. And then as far as Nanmu goes, we have a look at one of the paint schemes for the Brachiosaurus. And although it's only, kind of an image here from the front, actually we have two different images showing this off, we can definitely get a good idea overall of the fact that the paint scheme looks super, super nice and really natural overall for the Brachiosaurus. I don't know for sure if there's only going to be one paint scheme. I would imagine there will be more, as Nanmu usually does deliver at least two different paint variants, but this one looks really quite nice. It doesn't exactly match up to a Jurassic Park Brachiosaurus, however, which is very interesting to see, but I'm definitely hoping that we get that JP color scheme as well. But regardless, this brownish version looks gorgeous, and it's nice to see the Brachiosaurus finally getting revealed as far as some of the paint schemes go. The once and future king Tyrannosaurus, which we can see the boxes of right here, will be shipping to the dealers between September 15th to the 22nd, so the models should start to ship to anybody that has purchased them not long after that, which is also very exciting news, as that may be the most anticipated Nanmu model ever. And the Santiago and Calypso Baryonyx couple, which you can see from these images, will actually start to go up for pre-sale next week. And you can see from these images that both sculpts will actually be given both paint schemes. So similar to the Velociraptors that they had released a ways back, where if you wanted Velociraptor Blue to be a specific sculpt, you could choose that version. As you can see, these ones here are kind of flip-flopped back and forth as far as the color schemes go. So I would imagine you would have two different versions that you could pick up as far as, the different paint variants of the Baryonyx. Super awesome on the part of Nanmu to do that, because I think both paint schemes are awesome. And it's honestly really hard to choose which one is the better of the two, so you could potentially get both, and then you would have one of each in every different paint scheme that they are releasing, which is definitely a really cool idea, as per usual, on the part of Nanmu. And the final thing that I have, as far as this little news update that we have here, is actually thanks to Collect Jurassic, and it is the very first in-hand images of the upcoming Amber Collection Tyrannosaurus Rex and Compsognathus set, and I must say that I think I'm even less impressed with it now, actually seeing these images. I straight away really do not like these compies. The head sculpt, actually mostly just the lower jaw, is so unbelievably distracting and weird looking. I just cannot get into those Compsognathus figures. And the Rex, although the sculpt looks, okay, it doesn't look great, it looks alright, but the coloration definitely isn't my first choice. I don't think it looks all that great either. Sometimes it's a little tough to tell from random images depending on the light and stuff that they've used to take the pictures, and you really can't tell until you see it in hand, but I'm honestly a lot less excited about this set than I was initially, even though I will definitely be picking it up and reviewing it here on the channel, and I must of course add every Amber Collection released to my collection. It's not something that I'm just absolutely aching to get my hands on at this point, but hopefully when it does officially show up here in hand, it'll surprise me and be much nicer than I'm expecting, but I guess only time will really tell on that. So as of right now, guys, that's all the news I've got. When more comes out, I'll be sure to send it your way, but until then, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.